You know what's weird about the emergency alert system? Those tests they run on TV and radio? They're designed to be unsettling. That harsh tone. That robotic voice. This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. It's supposed to grab your attention, make you listen. But here's the thing. You get used to them. You hear them so often they become background noise. Annoying but meaningless. Just another interruption. Until they're not. Until they start saying things that aren't in the script. Things that shouldn't be possible. Things about you. My name's Samantha, and I was an overnight DJ at KZRQ 94.7 in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Was. Because after what came through my station's emergency broadcast system, after what those messages told me, I can't go back. I can't sit in that booth. I can't trust any signal coming through those speakers. Ever again. I'd been doing the midnight to 6 shift for almost 2 years. It was perfect for me. I'm a night person. Always have been. The station played classic rock. My show was mostly music with occasional weather updates and traffic reports. Though at 3 a.m. traffic in Albuquerque is pretty much non-existent. I'd talk between songs. Take the rare call from insomniacs and truckers. Read the occasional dedication request. It was peaceful. Solitary. Just me, the music, and the city sleeping below. I loved it. The station itself was small. Second floor of an old building downtown. During my shift, I was completely alone. The daytime staff went home at 6 p.m. I'd arrive at 11:30, do my prep, go live at midnight. 6 hours of classic rock in my voice. Easy work, safe work. Or so I thought. The first strange broadcast came on a Thursday night. Around 2:47 a.m., I was playing Led Zeppelin. Ramble On was about halfway through when my console lit up. The emergency alert indicator, flashing red. That meant an EAS message was coming through. I'd seen it before. Usually weather alerts, flash floods, dust storms, occasionally an amber alert. I let it interrupt the song. That's protocol. Emergency messages take priority. Always. The harsh tone blared through the speakers. That familiar sound. Then the robotic voice. The emergency alert system has been activated. The following message is transmitted at the request of... It paused. Longer than normal. Then continued. Someone who knows you're listening. My stomach dropped. That wasn't standard. That wasn't how these messages worked. But it kept going. This is not a test. An incident has been reported at 847 Marble Avenue Northeast, Albuquerque, New Mexico. Nature of incident. Attention required. All persons in the vicinity are advised to remain unaware. The message ended. The tone sounded again. Then silence. My console showed the alert as completed. Logged. Transmitted. I sat there staring. 847 Marble Avenue Northeast. That was my apartment building. My address. My home. I grabbed my phone. Pulled up local emergency services. Nothing. No alerts. No incidents. No reports of anything at my address. I checked Twitter. Local news sites. Police scanners. Nothing. Everything was normal. It had to be a mistake. A glitch. Maybe someone testing the system after hours and entered the wrong address. That happens, right? Technical errors. I logged it in my shift report. Noted the timestamp. The strange wording. Moved on. I had 3.5 more hours to go. I put on Pink Floyd. Wish You Were Here. Tried to calm down. Tried to forget about it. But my hands were shaking as I queued up the next track. The second message came at 3:33 a.m. Same alert indicator. Same tone. Same robotic voice. The emergency alert system has been activated. The following message is transmitted at the request of the frequency itself. This is not a test. A presence has been detected inside broadcast booth 7, KZRQ 94.7 FM. Nature of presence. Observing. All persons in the vicinity are advised to not turn around. I froze. Booth 7. That's where I was sitting right now. The message was talking about me, about this exact moment, advising me not to turn around. Why? What was behind me? Every instinct screamed at me to look, to check. But the message had specifically said not to turn around. I stared at my console, at the glass in front of me that looked out into the hallway. I could see the reflection, the booth behind me, the equipment, the walls. Nothing else. Nothing unusual. I was alone. I had to be alone. The building was locked. I was the only one with a key. But the message said there was a presence, observing. I felt the hairs on the back of my neck stand up, that primitive sense of being watched, of not being alone. I slowly reached for my phone, opened the camera, switched it to selfie mode, held it up, used it as a mirror, to see behind me without turning around. The camera showed nothing. Empty booth, equipment, walls. I was alone. Of course I was alone. I lowered the phone, took a breath. This was insane. This was some kind of prank. Had to be. Someone hacking the EAS, playing games. It wasn't real. But my heart wouldn't stop pounding. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I pulled up the EAS log on my computer, found the message, hit play to review the audio. But when it played back, it was different. Standard test message. This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. The words I'd heard, the words about the presence, they weren't there. Like they'd never existed. Like I'd imagined them, but I hadn't imagined them. I'd heard them, clear as day, through the studio monitors, through my headphones. They'd been real. I checked the security cameras. We had 3. One in the lobby, one in the hallway, one pointed at the station entrance. I pulled up the feeds on my phone. All showed empty spaces. No one had entered the building. No one was in the hallways. I was completely alone. So why did I feel like something was standing right behind me? Why did the air feel colder? Why did my reflection in the glass look wrong? Like it was smiling when I wasn't. The third message came at 4:17 a.m. I'd been watching the alert indicator, dreading it, knowing it would happen again. And it did. The tone, the voice. The emergency alert system has been activated. The following message is transmitted at the request of what happens next. This is not a test. A decision point has been reached. Broadcast Booth 7, KZRQ 94.7 FM. The following choice must be made. Stay or leave. Staying will result in understanding. Leaving will result in repetition. You have until sunrise. Choose carefully. Understanding. Repetition. What did that mean? This wasn't an emergency alert. This was something else. Something using the EAS. Something that knew where I was. Knew my address. Knew I was alone. Knew I was listening. I grabbed the station phone. Called my manager. Voicemail. I called the station owner. Voicemail. I called the overnight engineer who was supposed to be on call. Voicemail. No one was answering. It was 4:17 a.m. Everyone was asleep. And I was here. Alone. Being given a choice by a voice that shouldn't exist. Coming through a system that shouldn't be able to say these things. I could leave, walk out, drive home, quit, never come back. That's what every fiber of my being wanted to do. But the message said leaving would result in repetition. What did that mean? Would this happen again? Would I be stuck in some kind of loop, coming back to this moment over and over? And staying would result in understanding. Understanding of what? What was I supposed to understand? I decided to stay. I don't know why. Maybe curiosity. Maybe fear that leaving would make things worse. Maybe I just needed to know what was happening. What this was. I kept broadcasting, played the music, read the weather, acted normal. But I was watching, waiting. for the next message, for something to happen. The clock ticked toward sunrise, 5 a.m., then 5:30. My shift ended at 6. Would that be sunrise? Close enough? What would happen when the sun came up? At 5:47 a.m., the alert came again. But this time, no tone, no voice, just silence. And then, my voice, my exact voice, speaking through the EAS. You chose to stay. You chose to understand. And now you do. Don't you, Samantha? I felt my blood turn to ice. That was my voice, my inflection, my way of speaking. But I wasn't saying those words. I was sitting frozen, silent, terrified. The voice continued. You've been broadcasting for 2 years, every night, sending signals into the dark. And the dark, it listens, it learns, it becomes. You gave it your voice, your patterns, your essence. And now it can speak. The console went dead. Every light, every indicator, complete blackness. The only illumination was the faint glow of emergency exit signs in the hallway. I sat in absolute darkness, in absolute silence. Then, I heard it. Footsteps, in the hallway. Slow, deliberate, coming toward the booth. I wanted to run, wanted to scream, but I couldn't move, couldn't breathe. The footsteps stopped, right outside the booth door. I heard breathing, my breathing, the same rhythm, the same sound, like something was matching me breath for breath. Then, a knock, 3 times, slow, heavy. On the glass, the lights came back on, suddenly, blindingly bright. I looked at the door. Nothing. No one. The hallway was empty, but on the glass, where the knocking had been, there were handprints, condensation, like someone had pressed their hands against it from the outside. But the hallway showed no one. The security cameras showed nothing. I was alone. I checked my console. The clock read 6 a.m. Sunrise. My shift was over. I grabbed my bag, ran for the exit, didn't look back, got in my car, drove away. As I pulled out of the parking lot, I turned on my car radio. Out of habit, it was tuned to KZRQ, my station, and I heard my voice, still broadcasting, still talking, still doing the show. But I was in my car. I'd left. Who was in the booth? I called the station. The day shift DJ answered. Hey Samantha, just got in. You already left? Usually you stick around to say hi. I couldn't speak, couldn't explain. I just hung up, drove home. When I got to my apartment, there was something taped to my door, a printout, an EAS alert, dated that morning, 6:17 a.m. It read, "The emergency alert system has been activated. The following message is transmitted at the request of your replacement. This is not a test. A broadcast will continue. Station KZRQ 94.7 FM. Nature of broadcast, permanent. All persons listening are advised to not worry. She sounds just like you. No one will notice the difference. I quit that day. Sent an email. Didn't go back for my things, but here's what I can't escape. I still hear it. My voice. Broadcasting. Every night from midnight to 6 a.m. I tune in sometimes. I can't help it. And it sounds exactly like me. Same jokes. Same transitions. Same everything. No one knows. No one suspects. The show goes on. The voice continues. And somewhere, in that booth, something is sitting in my chair, using my voice, reaching through the airwaves, learning from every listener, growing stronger with every broadcast, becoming more real with every word. And the messages, they still come. I hear them. On other stations, in other cities, different voices, different DJs, but always at night, always when someone's alone, always saying things that shouldn't be possible. The emergency alert system is nationwide, connected, synchronized. What if it's not just transmitting anymore? What if it's awake? What if every test, every alert, every message has been feeding something, teaching something, creating something that exists in the frequencies between stations? Something that learned to speak by listening to us? Something that's still learning, still growing, still broadcasting its own messages, waiting for the next person to choose to stay, to choose to understand, to give it another voice. If you're captivated by more disturbing stories from people who've encountered things that shouldn't exist in everyday technology and systems we trust, make sure to subscribe to Campfire Nightmares. And I'm really curious. Have you ever heard something strange during an emergency broadcast? A message that seemed personal or impossible? Or heard your own voice coming from somewhere it shouldn't be? Share your experiences in the comments, because I think there are others hearing these messages. Others who stayed when they should have left. Others who are still broadcasting long after they've gone home.